What red flags were there? Well, I think we've established that the whole bloody thing is one massive red flag at this moment. But for me in particular, the kind of hierarchy that was going on within Hyperianism, you know, there was definitely some people at the top who you couldn't question, couldn't criticise, couldn't say anything about. If you did, you were blocked, unfriended, chucked to a groups, all that good stuff. That pissed me off. That was a red flag. Another one which has been mentioned, but I think it's worth reiterating because it is a pretty significant red flag, is the fact that there was no real movement happening within this so-called movement. It was completely static and nothing was actually being done. And, you know, the whole coronavirus and COVID was a very convenient excuse to not have meetups, not do anything concrete in the 3D. But now that that's passed and there's still nothing happening, there's no excuse anymore. And I asked them this 3 times last week, and on Facebook through my fake account, I asked them 3 times, you know, you keep talking about new Terra. What plans have you got to bring this new Earth, this new Terra, into actual 3D reality? And I could see him reading it 3 times and I ignored it 3 times. Maybe because I didn't send a super chat, maybe because I didn't pay to ask that question, but I think it just made him uncomfortable, you know. So that was another red flag, just the lack of movement, the lack of anything actually really happening in the 3D reality. And sometimes when you did offer suggestions or solutions to things, you were just shot down. I remember suggesting when I was in the outer circle for a couple of months, I was like, I think we should all go to our local schools and universities and target, you know, political students, history students, people that, science students, people that we think would be amenable to this information. Like, if we all done that in our local area, we might be able to really, you know, make an impact with people that are already thinking that way. And a couple of people liked it and were like, yeah, it's a good idea, but there was nothing. And I thought that was a brilliant idea, you know. I was like, why aren't we doing this already? But nothing like that has ever been suggested, and there was just generally nothing being done. So that was another massive red flag. And the third was definitely the direction these videos were going. The content was going right downhill. It was becoming all about him, becoming really obscure subjects like, you know, what does the crown and the Statue of Liberty really symbolise? What does this Masonic text really say about Jesus? You know, and then the whole, was Jesus actually Lucifer? Was Lucifer actually God? Was it like all these obscure subjects that they're vaguely interesting, but they don't really have anything to do with Illuminism or progressing as a movement for the working class, you know. And I just didn't see the relevance. Plus the fact that the way he monetizes his YouTube channel to the absolute max, like millions of people have YouTube channels, and you know, a lot will have a Patreon for extra videos and stuff. But I have never ever watched another YouTube creator that does lives and has, you know, has so many ways of collecting money in one stream. You know, super chats, stars, loyalty badges, going up to different tiers. Like, it's insane. And it's like he's literally sitting there like a flipping slot machine in Las Vegas, just collecting money for all these people that are addicted to him and that keep flinging money at him, hoping that they're going to get a 777 and all their fruits in a row so that he'll give them a shout out, change the colour ooh, put a blue background on, or write their name on the board, you know. It's like, if your life is so sad and empty that getting a shout out or a validation for that prick is the highlight of your week, you really need to evaluate what you're doing with your life. You know what I mean? The guy is doing nothing but sitting there collecting money. And I would like to address what Uriel said, his ex, in her statement, saying, oh, he's not really like that, he's not about money. Aye, back then, he wasn't. He was altruistic back then, he had good intentions back then. The PI approve of them back then, when you were shagging him, but not since. He has completely morphed into this totally narcissistic character, in love with himself, in love with his own reflection, and all he cares about now is collecting as much money as possible, and that's it, you know. His videos are shit, they're repetitive, you don't learn anything new, there's no focus on any movement, and he focuses on the most trivial stuff, you know, all the minority groups, not the 99%, not the working class. Yeah, it's pathetic. So that was a few red flags there.